Only way I would trade a SPY is if it breaks all-time high and go all the way back up and then use the all-time high, previous all-time high as a support level. For me, I cannot execute off the daily because it's not enough information. For me, right? I need more data. The daily gives me a bigger overall idea, but now we got to get into the 4 hour, we got to get into the 1 hour because we get to see a little bit more activity. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to look at the SPY. So let's look at bigger picture. So bigger picture, what we see is, let's just do this right quick. We see we are in an overall, we see the overall uptrend. Do we see that? Overall uptrend, we see that. This is from swing low to swing high. We like that, swing low to swing high. Of course, we know right now after hours, it's probably ticking up. That I should have had my thing on. So we in an overall uptrend. We like that. We not mad at that. Coming strong off the lows. We gonna pay attention to that. That's good. Big picture, short term, it is bullish. Remember, one of the things I always do is when I mark previous day low. Let me mark this out so y'all can see when I touch it. I mark previous day low, previous week low right here. And then previous week high is this right here where our all-time high at. And then I like to mark out the previous day low right here. Then the previous day close, which was here. So that's these two right here. I mark those out. The reason why I mark those out is because it helps me box out what's going on. I need to understand what we're doing. I need to understand where we're going. So up above, we know that we have overhead resistance. It's going to be right there at 652.24, which was all-time high. We know we're going to have overhead resistance right there, so we got to just be careful for that. We know that the market usually, once it falls into that, you know it's going to push back down, especially with that long wick. That long wick tells us that it was rejected, right? It was rejected. So it tried to get it, boom, then she got out. Then she fell down. So we know that's going to be immediate resistance. Now, the current line in the sand, what I like to look at is a couple things. Now, okay, after hours, we see is at 651.02. 651.02 after hours. Now, here's what I would want us to do. Now, one of the things I want to look at is the line in the sand. So the line in the sand for me going to be the previous day low at 647. Look where you see PDL. Look where you see PDL. That's going to be the previous day. Well, that was yesterday's low. Now, I'm going to tell you how that's going to be really good for me, because if we look at this whole move, I'm going to show y'all something. If we look at this whole move right here, I'm going to bring y'all into a situation. I'm not using that as a diagonal trend line. I'm using that to just outline the actual move, right? So watch this. You see that actual move going up. Now watch this. One of the things that's important is I want you to look at these different little situations I'm about to point out to us. So one, you have this move right here. Boom, watch how I do this. I'm gonna break this down in boxes for you. Then you have this move right here. Right, so these two moves, what I want you to understand is this move here was the base of that whole rally, right? It's the base of that whole rally. But then what you'll notice is then you get this move here in this box. So once you get that move, we get all-time high and then we come down. So now when we come down, I'm gonna show you something else right quick, because I want to show you how I look at the market and how I go to making plays. I'm gonna move this over a little bit. So then you get this. Now this is gonna be interesting. Then you get this. Right? Are we paying attention to the three boxes that I have? The three, we see the three areas that I have outlined. Now watch what I'm about to say here. It'll really help you out as you move forward. It definitely helps me understand what's going on in real time. So what you see is, I'm gonna show you something right here that's real interesting. I'm gonna paint the box different. So right here, I'm gonna change the color on this. You see that little blue box I have? Well, you have a gap right there. So I'm gonna execute that so you can see it, and I'm gonna open this up. Open this up so you can see it. So what you have right here is a gap from the day before until here. You have this gap right here, right? And that leads to this box right here, right? So watch what I'm about to tell you right here. From this box, what you have is, what we wind up seeing from here is we get an idea. So this becomes the base. That previous day low Because this whole move right here is predicated off that base. That last piece, this whole uptrend is predicated off this base. So you get the gap up right here. You get the gap up right here. And then you get this downside. This creates a base for us. So this whole move now is predicated off of this. So this PDL, that previous day low, becomes a base for me. So for me, that's the line in the sand. I want to see the S&P stay above 647.24. I want to see it stay above 647.24. The reason being, because if we stay above 647.24, two things happen at one time. One, the first thing we see is it stays above our 20-day SMA. So as long as it's above our 20-day SMA, here's what we understand. We understand that the buyers are still in control. As long as we above our 20-day SMA, we know that our buyers are still in control, right? So the reason why I go the way I break it down is daily, so I can see what's happening. 4 hour, I break the day in half, I get a little more data. And the 1 hour is the time frame that I execute on. I cannot execute off the daily because there's not enough information for me, right? I need more data. The daily gives me a bigger overall idea, but now we got to get into the 4 hour, we got to get into the 1 hour because we get to see a little bit more activity. The more activity we can see, it's two things that happen here now. Activity equals noise, so now key levels become super important. Right, so the more candles you see on the chart, it is giving you more data, but it also can confuse you if you don't have key levels wrote out. So write this out. The deeper you go into your time frame, meaning 1 hour, 30 minute, 5 minute, 1 minute, whatever you're going to, you got to have strategic key levels so you know exactly what you're executing on. Right? So we're going to go monthly, weekly, daily, 4 hour, 1 hour is where we make our move off. 1 hour is important because we got enough data. We want to make sure all other higher time frames are in alignment with the 1 hour. If a 4 hour and a daily is not agreeing with the 1 hour, we step back, we don't make no move. We wait till all of those time frames tell us the same thing. Now, if they all telling us the same thing, that means, watch this, the candles are communicating correctly. Watch this. So we see our base right here at 647.24, we know we good. So as long as we on top of 647.24, we good. Now, earlier I said something to my people when we was on our live, when we did our live earlier today. I said, listen, y'all. I said, if we can get on top of, if we can get on top of 649, I said, we can stay above 649. Now, remember, this is the hourly. I said, we can get above 649, close above 650. Yo, we in a good position. So now we going to switch off on that. All we doing right here is just we mapping out. And now we know one thing. If we do close below 647, then now what we do know is 645.66 becomes where we really need to stay at. Right? And that's why we have this line at 645.66. So right now we at 650. Right? 647 puts us below our previous day low. That's our base. If we break our base, we looking for support. We're at 645.66. 645.66. If we go below that, we know we in an overall downtrend because now we've broken our base. Now we're looking at 640 as somewhere to hold us strong at. That's what we're looking for. So all you need to do now is go put your journal together, say, hey, here's my SPY. Here's the numbers that Trap gave me. This is what I'm looking at. Now, for me, I'm not going to trade the SPY because we too close to all-time high. I would need it to break above all-time. Only way I would trade the SPY is if it breaks all-time high and go all the way back up and then use the all-time high, previous all-time high as a support level. All right, let's go to our Qs right quick. Right, we're going to go to the Qs right quick. We're going to break this down. We're going to make this clean. We're going to make this impulsive. Y'all see, we talked about this yesterday. We talked about this morning to my people. So you like, Trap, what the hell is that long-ass box right there? All right, let's talk about it. So this box, this purple box that you see, is a range that the market had been in. Right, so the Q had been in a range. Do you see that range? Same range, right? It broke above the range a little bit, came down a little bit. It spent more time in that range than anything else. So what we needed it to do, and I told my people this, I said, hey, we needed to come up out of this range. So here's why we got this mark, Friday's close. It closed Friday at 576.22, which was good. We like that, right? It closed at 576.22 Friday. Now, here's what happened. From there, we see the gap up. Now, you see this little line we got marked right here? You see this circle right here? This is the demand zone. Now, it's not huge. It's a small gap zone. And anytime you get on a chart, you're supposed to mark that out because that means there's some type of liquidity sitting inside of there. There's some order sitting right there. And here's the thing we got to understand about the market. The market gonna always, watch this, the market gonna always find a way to go get that money because it needs the money to go further, okay? The market will always magnetize to some type of liquidity because the liquidity fuels the market. It needs more money. Think about it's like a whale. The whale need to get them little fish so it can keep going further and further and further and further. We got on top of that. Then we closed yesterday at 579.13. So here's what I told my people. We saw the Friday close at 576. I don't mind it going down back in there to get those orders, but I want it to stay on top of 573.93. Why? Because if it stays on top of that, I'm good. That's my line in the sand. That keeps me right on top of that range. If we go inside of that range, then we know for a fact the sellers have now took away control from the buyers. If we get back in that range, if we get anywhere back in this box, it's a free-for-all, and I want to kind of stay out of it. The sellers have now taken control, and we want to just chill. Because it can go from here, and then it can go right back into this liquidity pool, and then from there, it can go back to 559.94. Now, what we see down there is, you see that red line? That red line shows us what? We had an equal low. Equal low always mean what? Money grab. That's more liquidity. So anytime you see equal low, anytime you see equal high, you know what? That's liquidity. The market will always be drawn towards that. So I don't want the market to even put me in that situation. I want it to be here. You see it's close to all-time highs again. What we want to do, all-time highs at 583.29, so that the NASDAQ has room to move around. What I want to see is I want to see it stay on top of 576. That's my number. I want to stay on top of 576. Worst case scenario, I want to stay on top of 573.93. 573.93, that's right on top of my box. The most I wanted to come down is 573.60, 573.93. That puts me right on top of this box. That's the furthest I want to go. So I want to use the top of that box. We're going to call that a shelf. We're going to call it a demand shelf. If it stays on top of that box, I'm 100% cool. We want the buyers to defend that box. We want the buyers to defend 573.93. If the buyers defend that, we all right. If the sellers push past that, it's a good chance we're going to fall all the way down to probably about 568, could come down to 566, so we want to just be mindful of that. A lot of people been asking me in the group about Palantir. Here's what I like to see. If you look at it like this way really helped me out when I was looking at it. This the way I charted it on a 4 hour. I could just go back top of my... All right, I'm going to show y'all something right quick that's real cool. Watch this. First thing I do when I get on it, I already see consolidation just sitting right there in front of my face. You can't duck it, you can't hide it. It's right there in front of you. We about right here, boom. So we see that, we can't run from it, we can't hide from it, we see it. It ain't even hard to tell where it's at. We can actually come here with it, right? We can't duck it, we can't hide it, we see it, right? Now, here's something that's interesting right here. So if we look at this, watch what I'm about to do, and it's gonna make so much sense when I do this. Watch this. If I take this from this high and go to yesterday's close, right? This is yesterday's bar. We can see that. We see that? It's yesterday's bar. You see the downtrend in full effect on a 4 hour. We see it. Do we see that? We understand that? Now, if we look at today, what happened? I'm going to move this out the way so y'all can get rid of it. Look at that. Take these two candles out of it. Take these two candles out of it. If you look at that downtrend from yesterday, if you look at your trend line, if you're one of those people that like trend lines, y'all know that ain't my thing. If you take that trend line and go all the way down, what did it do? And then I want you to see something that's really, really critical. So I got my 20 SMA on it, right? Watch this. I got my 20 SMA on it. Now, watch this. You got some things that align that's going to be real cool. We got our 20 SMA on it. Look at this. Those two candles jump on top of our 20 SMA. So not only did it break the trend line, it also jumped on top of what? Right? But it's still, watch this. If you look at it, it's right outside our consolidation box. That last candle put it right outside our consolidation box. Right outside of it. Last candle of the day put us right outside of the consolidation box. Both those candles put us right on top of the line. So for me, what I want to do is just be mindful of it. I want to watch it. You don't got to jump and go crazy. If I was to do anything, we already been in it. If I was to do anything, I would do this. Let me see something right quick, and then we're going to go about our business, Jose. If I was to do anything, I would come here. I would take my fib, put it on, boom, high here. Bring it down to that. If I'm somebody looking to get inside of Palantir, my move wouldn't be till it closed on top of this 50. 165 would be the line I get on top of. If I'm somebody looking to get inside of Palantir, I wouldn't get inside of it until it jump on top of this 50 right here and close above that. That 50 puts us where? Let me see. 165.95 is probably where I would get in. So if I'm looking to get in Palantir, based on that trend, based on that swing high to swing low, because it's in a downtrend, I wouldn't get into Palantir until you get a close on top of 165.95. Because not with a wick, it would have to use what's called a candle close. Meaning you want a strong candle close, green close, and then a confirmation candle. If you can get something like this, what we got circled on top of that 50, I'm good. So 165.95 is when I would get inside Palantir. We get a close on top of 165. We get on top of 165.95. Why? Because that means it has now reclaimed 50% of that downtrend. So if you get a close above that with a candle confirmation the next day, you got your money. So you want a candle close, not a wick. You want a candle close. No, I don't want it to pull back. I would want it at 165.95. That tells me buyers have now taken over. If it hits that 50 and fall back down, that means it's still in the downtrend. That means sellers are still in control. I don't want to be a part of that. That's how powerful that fib work is for you.